Hi, friend. Welcome back to Running to Myself. I'm your host, Tricia Stanton. Today, we're talking about something wildly unglamorous, wildly unremarkable, and wildly effective: the basics. Not the hack, not the secret, not the one thing that someone promises will make everything easier and faster. Just the basics. You see, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, weight loss, better health, increased energy, organizing your life, better relationships, stronger job performance, pursuing a degree, learning a new skill, every single one of those things has one requirement in common. You must start with the basics. That's not exciting. I know it feels slow, it feels repetitive, it feels almost too simple to matter. But going slow is often how you go fast. Recently, a client was telling me about a weight loss secret she had read about. It had something to do with Jell-O. Yes, Jell-O. I didn't see the advertisement myself, but I suspected it was the kind of clickbait that we used to teach students to avoid during tech literacy lessons in the classroom. The kind of headline that screams, "Doctors don't want you to know this." We laughed because it sounded crazy. And then I remembered something. Between the ages of 14 and 24, I read every single magazine that promised quick miracle results in weight loss, fitness, or beauty. If it said drop 10 pounds fast or flat abs in 2 weeks, I bought it. I fell for it every single time. And it never worked. Not once. Not because I wasn't trying, not because I lacked discipline, but because I was looking for a shortcut instead of building a foundation. And we still do this. We may not be flipping through glossy magazines anymore, but we're clicking links, buying programs, searching for that one thing. But here's the truth. There is one thing that makes everything easier and faster: a strong foundation. Let me tell you a story. Many decades ago, I took piano lessons. My best friend Joy and I shared a teacher. We alternated weeks. She would go one week, I would go the next. It felt like a genius solution to our problem of not having enough time to practice between lessons. In reality, it just delayed the inevitable. Instead of showing up unprepared every week, I showed up unprepared every other week. Our teacher, who felt very old to our 9-year-old selves, had been teaching for decades. She had lots of students, some of them very talented. And I'm not entirely convinced she kept perfect track of which lesson belonged to which girl when it came to us. In fact, sometimes she confused us. We know this because one day she spent the entire lesson scolding my partner in crime for never being prepared. And the whole time, she thought she was scolding me. It's still one of our favorite childhood stories. But here's why this mattered. You see, during all of this, Joy learned the foundational basics: scales, technique, theory, structure. And I learned how to memorize individual pieces. I could perform a song, I could fake it pretty convincingly, but I didn't understand what I was doing. Fast forward decades later, Joy has been teaching piano lessons her entire adult life. And I don't even remember how to read music, and that's not an exaggeration. The difference wasn't necessarily talent, it was foundation. She built one, and I skipped it. And that's what shortcuts do. They help you perform one song, but they don't teach you music. They might get you short-term results, but they don't build long-term capacity. So let's make this practical, because it's easy to agree with this concept and then go right back to chasing something shiny. Step one, define what basic actually means in your situation. Most of us skip the steps. If you want better health, the basics are not the perfect macro ratio, the newest workout split, the trending supplement. The basics are consistent sleep, daily movement, whole foods most of the time, protein intake, strength training, hydration. If you want better relationships, the basics are not the perfect communication script, the right personality assessment, a conflict hack. The basics are listening without interrupting, taking ownership of your reactions, speaking clearly and kindly, keeping your word. If you want career growth, the basics are not another certification, a productivity app, a high-level seminar. The basics are doing what you said you would do, preparing before meetings, practicing your craft, managing your time. And here's the uncomfortable question. Are you avoiding the basics because they're boring? Or because they require consistency without immediate payoff? Shortcuts feel productive. They feel exciting. They give you a bit of hope. Basics require delayed gratification, and that's where most people fall off. So here's a framework you can use, the 6-month foundation reset. Pick one area, just one, and ask, what result do I want 6 months from now? Then write down what are 3 to 5 foundational habits that directly support that result. Now, reduce it. If you want better health and you're currently inconsistent, don't jump to 6 days in the gym and a total nutrition overhaul. Start with 8,000 steps a day, protein at every meal, a consistent bedtime. If you want to improve a relationship, no interrupting, one intentional check-in conversation, eliminating sarcasm and conflict. If you want mindset growth, 5 minutes of thought awareness journaling, identifying one story you're telling and separating fact from interpretation. These are all small, clear, and repeatable. And here's the most important shift. Track consistency, not results. When you're building a foundation, results lag. If you only measure weight, income, praise, or visible progress, you will get discouraged. Instead, ask, did I practice the scales this week? Or did I just try to perform the song? The basics build capacity. Capacity for intensity, capacity for growth, capacity for resilience. As a runner, I know this deeply. If you build a strong aerobic base, speed work strengthens you. If you skip the base and jump into intensity, you get injured. In business, if you build emotional regulation and discipline, stress stretches you. But without that base, pressure collapses you. In relationships, if you build communication and ownership, conflict can deepen the connection. Without it, conflict fractures it. And one more thing, especially if you tend to start and stop. Stop restarting. Restarting keeps you in beginner mode. Instead, resume, even if you've fallen off, even if you've been inconsistent. Don't create a dramatic new plan. Just return to the basics. There's something powerful about saying, I am a person who returns to my foundation. That builds identity, and identity builds consistency. So if you're tempted right now to search for something new, buy something new, try something new, pause. Ask, have I mastered the basics? If the answer is no, that's your work. You don't need the Jell-O trick. You don't need the miracle headline. You need a strong base that can hold the life you say you want. Go slow to go fast. 6 months from now, you won't be talking about a shortcut. You'll be standing on something solid. And that kind of success, it lasts. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, keep running to yourself.